Good morning, team. All right, we're here today. Markets are breaking all-time highs. We thought this would happen yesterday. NASDAQ, S&P, now at all-time highs. Yeah, no, I see that 2410 level. That's the level I was eyeing. At first, I thought it might have been a little bit too high up there, but yeah, look at that right there, 2410. Not really an after hours. I would say it's early this morning. So we hit that level in the NASDAQ at like 3:30 this morning. But again, you can kind of see it's a respected level, that 2410. So the level worked pretty well. Let me know if you can hear the music. You should be able to hear the music. NASDAQ's breaking all-time highs. I told you guys this would happen yesterday. I ended up losing a little bit of money yesterday, but I made a lot of it back in after hours, or in power hour yesterday. I went on Top Step TV and had some really nice trades and made a lot of it back. But do you not like this mic? Does this mic not sound good, Ryan? Did you mean no bueno or mo bueno? Yeah, we should be pretty good. Let me check. No bueno. Okay. Yeah, again, E-mini breaking all-time highs. Bitcoin flying up there to 121s. Gold moving up on this as well. This comes on renewed odds of rate cuts. I believe Besson is now pushing for a 50 basis point cut. Okay. But yeah, we're going to try to trade a little bit different today, to be honest. I'm going to try to be a little bit more patient, but we're going to try to trade a little bit different today. All right, so the president says he will be speaking to European leaders in a short while, and they are great people who want to see a deal done. Again, I'm speaking to European leaders in a short while. They're great people who want to see a deal done. We had quantum stocks actually start to break down. If you look at like what happened yesterday, RGTI, Rigetti gapped down on their earnings. We had CoreWeave down pretty significant amounts here. It's down to 135s from 150. Pretty big gap down for quantum. Most quantum stocks are slow today. Let's do a poll. Does the NASDAQ break all-time highs? I'm gonna say 24.5. Actually, I'm gonna make it a specific level. What's up, Arif, Ryan, Fender, Fate, Caesar, Us, Fate, Claire, Ryan, Lost, Pawn, Ace, Sergeant, Darren, Marco, Julie, Keegan, Jack. Hey, what's up, guys? Ramy, what's up, guys? Yeah, 24.5 today. Yes or no? Does the NASDAQ 100 break 24.5 today? That's my question. It's a big level. That's way up there, but still, it's possible. I don't think it happens. Maybe this is a little bit too optimistic of a poll. I don't even think we break 24.5 today. Yeah, crazy day, honestly. All-time highs. Hey, thank you, Victor. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I don't even know if we break that level here. Maybe there's a short. We're kind of sideways. I'm looking at other news here. It's a little slower for news. I mean, we got some stuff. My stock portfolio is doing pretty well. Micron upgrades guidance. We saw that yesterday, actually. The NBA 30-year mortgage rate did show up at 6.67%, which is actually about 0.1% lower than last time. So maybe mortgage rates are going to start decreasing a little bit. United Health authorizes quarterly dividend of $2.21 a share. Previously it was $2.10. The Chinese Commerce Minister extends the anti-dumping measure against single-mode optical fiber imports from India until August 14th of next year, so a full year. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I could think of a little short here. I'm trying to take longer term trades. See how this goes. What do you guys think right now? 3 cuts by the year end. Yeah, let's take a look at yields this morning. I'm also seeing some news break that the China's foreign minister official summons Japanese diplomat over Taiwan and security issues. I'm seeing that news just show up. If we take a look at yields this morning, I'm assuming yields are down, but you never really know. Yeah, yields are down. 4.25% for 10-year treasury yields. If we take a look at rate cut odds on top of this here, 96% likely that we're going to cut rates in September based off of yesterday's inflation report. And again, I think the market broke all-time highs. Number one, because we were around them. And we talked about this nuance yesterday in which NASDAQ, as it gets closer to all-time highs, it becomes more probable that we're going to actually test those all-time highs. And so in this case, we ended up just ripping over it. But again, I think the market is up on kind of a manic move because of rate cut odds increasing so substantially for September. I think that's what's driving the NASDAQ and S&P. In stocks, we've actually had some bad news. Like we've got the tariffs on AMD and Nvidia, but they got a deal done, but we got tariffs on them. We also have China discouraging or companies from buying Nvidia chips. You know, there's some microchip news that's not really the best news out. So it's an interesting time. And if you look at Nvidia's sideways. I mean, it kind of tapped over all-time highs yesterday at the end of the day, but it's been sideways now. Or not quite all-time highs. All-time highs on Nvidia, I'm sorry, are 185.43. I'm happy because I'm one of those people that buys almost every UFC pay-per-view. As long as it's good, I'll buy it. And you know, the end of the pay-per-view era is here, so it's probably going to save me at least $1,000 a year. I'm for it. You know. Yeah, we'll see if he says anything. I don't know if they're holding it down. I think we're in the middle. Okay, so countries independently are trying to build up their future through microchips. I think everybody in the world and every major government in the world recognizes that microchips are the future. You know, like every major country in the world recognizes that microchips are the future. And so what you see is countries competing with each other regarding that future. right? Who's going to dig deep and establish themselves as a leader in microchips? Which countries' companies are going to establish themselves as leaders in microchips? That's what you see everybody vying for right now, including China, of course, including the United States, including Russia, including, you know, I don't know about Russia, but that's what you see right now. Is you see all the major countries competing with each other, especially like the big tech-centered ones like the US and China regarding AI. Like who's going to end out on top? Because that's going to dictate economic benefits and more, you know. I think U.S. markets on very dangerous grounds, NVIDIA being 8% of the entire S&P. Yeah, so the big news today, again, futures S&P are hovering near record highs. Renewed expectations that the Fed's cutting rates as early as September. Probability of a 25 basis point cut is up to 96%, up from the 89% previously before CPI data. The VIX, we see people talking about the VIX. It's under 15 now. It's the lowest level since January. Investor confidence in markets is up. Again, July CPI data came in steady. Headline stayed at 2.7%. They expected 2.8%, so a little bit lower than expected. Core CPI came in at the top end of expected, 3.1. Anywhere between 3 and 3.1 was expected for core, so most people saw that as a win as well, I guess. And now we got Treasury Secretary Bessent calling for a 0.5 point cut at the next Fed meeting. But as of now, that's not even an option that I'm showing. So I don't even see that as a probability here. 96% chance of a 25 basis point cut, 0% chance as of now of a 50. Still, we got about a 3% chance, 3.5% chance of a pause again. But again, bond yields are down. Another stocks, again, stocks, CoreWeave fell almost 10%, larger than expected loss despite revenue growth. Bullish BLSH. Crypto exchange behind CoinDesk IPO'd. Again, you can see BLSH here, or its IPOs. BLSH IPOs today. Kava down 20% after missing Q2 sales and lowering its outlook. And then Alibaba jumped 6%, while Tencent rose almost 5%, buoyed by global optimism over trade cuts, or rate cuts. So that is the big news today. U.S. markets on, yeah. Investing is so easy. Market zigs and zags long term. Yeah, I always tell people the biggest way to make money is sit on stuff long term. Usually it's going to go up. It might take years, might take longer than that, really. It might take decades, but generally market's going up long term. Yeah, so NVIDIA now accounts for over 8% of the S&P, marking the largest single stock weighting in the index's history since records started in 1981. Again, NVIDIA has surpassed 8%, making it the most influential stock ever with the S&P 500 now. I wonder if it's going to mean we're going to get some good trades on the S&P or the E-mini. I don't really trade the E-mini a lot. I'm actually going to start maybe shorting a little bit here. I'm going to take a longer term trade. Again, it's small. And we're working on scaling up our size. If we get a little rebound back up, I don't mind this here. We're going to start with one maybe. and then try to maybe add a little bit to this. Our risk is going to be 24, over like 24 and 2. Our reward target, we're going to plan to hold this down to 65, I think, if we can. But we want a little bit more of a position here, but we'll add to it if we get in deeper into the green, is what the plan is. We're initially very green though, so maybe we can add if we bounce a little bit here. We just jumped in, we're in 2. Maybe gonna add some more if we get into some green here. We'll just let that sit. Yeah, I mean, we're around all-time high, so I'm gonna be kind of tight on the way up here. If we start to push towards 24, I'm gonna just cut it. It's just not worth the risk in that situation. We broke under a big milestone level, big range level here just now at 23.87 or so, but you never know. Honestly, I might start trading power hour, dude. Like every time I've gone on Top Step TV for like 5, 6, 7 times, I've made money. Like I've made money 5, 6, 7 times in a row. Treasury Secretary Bessent asked when asked if the model for NVIDIA and AMD chips could be used elsewhere, and we could see the model in other industries. What did Bloomberg say? Hold on, this is from Bloomberg. Let me check. He said taxpayer gets a benefit from NVIDIA China sales. I don't want Huawei to have a digital belt and road. I could see an NVIDIA arrangement in other cases over time. And that the president came up with NVIDIA agreement. It is a unique solution. Is what I'm showing right here. Yeah, I'm trying to gauge these shorter term like range trades that I take here. Like we're very sideways now. And so I'm trying to see what kind of size I want to take here in these shorter term range bound trades, or these longer term range bound trades. That's what I'd like to get involved with. Those are the trades I make the most money on. Yeah, AMD. People are asking me regarding AMD. AMD's pumping up. It's at 177s. Trying to see what all-time highs are on AMD. All-time highs 227. So we still got a ways. I mean, I don't know. I hope NVIDIA has good earnings, because good earnings on NVIDIA will propel the whole market higher, especially with it making up 8% of the S&P 500 right now. But NVIDIA started to rebound back up too. It's green over the last like 40 minutes. It's red on the day though, but green over the. So the market wants rate cuts right now. Yeah, so Bessent also said revenue from the NVIDIA arrangement will go to pay down debt, is what he said. Revenue from the NVIDIA arrangement will go to pay down debt. We'll use revenue to pay down US debt. He said a lot of China tech is piggybacking from the US on concerns about government control of private businesses, not at all on semiconductors. We don't want to sell everything to everybody. All right, so we're in a little starter trade, and I think that what I'm going to use here is if we lose on this, it's very small. It's a very small loss. It's like 25 bucks or something. If we get deep enough in the green where we can add to it, usually that'll be a larger gain. I'm going to watch the bullish IPO. I don't think I'm going to get in it, maybe. Yeah, we might start to prepare to cut it. Like I said 24. We're basically at 24, but I do want to give it a second here. I'm gonna let it actually test though. There we go, that's better. I'm showing just stagnation though in markets where we're kind of sideways. AMD's still pushing though. Look at AMD. Broke highs of the day a couple minutes ago. Yeah, the E-mini broke all-time highs too. You can see it up here on the top right. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a lot of companies are moving into AI. As they should be. I mean, AI is the future. What's up, Faye? Yeah, so Besson speaking, he says, seeing a return to normal pre-2020 margins now. He said, my view is that China will eat the tariffs, so seeing a return to normal. Yeah, we're still pretty flat on this position. I wanted to see if we could break down. I'd like a larger pullback here and then maybe a rip back up to run. Yeah, we might not get it though. CRDO? I mean, we could take a look at CRDO here. CRDO, not really a stock that I know too much about. Frito, deeper into it. High-speed connectivity solutions, third-desk chiplets, integrated circuits, optical and active electrical cables, AI-powered data centers. Near its 52-week high. Good revenue, earnings up 180% year over year to 170 million. Adjusted EPS 35 cents, better than the 27 expected. Guidance was strong. Up almost 25% post earnings. It's up too much for me to buy it, though, to be honest. It's just up too much. Yeah, the Nasdaq's just kind of choppy right now. I'm gonna set a stop up here at my 24 level. We seem to be rejecting that here. Very small position. Gonna add. I want to specify my price here. I'm gonna have to add that here. Hold on. All right, so now we're dipping down. We did reject 24. We gave it a little bit of confirmation. This is a short buy of the day. Put the NASDAQ up in here. There's 2402 is what I said, right? Wait, did it just take one off, bro? I didn't want to take one off, dude. Oh, man. Accidentally just took one off. I really didn't want it to. Oh, well. Small. I guess we'll give it a little time to break down, but we're getting completely missed earnings. Yeah, a lot of quantum stocks just dumped yesterday. They missed big. They fell a lot. EIA is predicting a huge oil crash. According to EIA, West Texas Intermediate crude will be at or below $50 a barrel by the end of the year. This would hurt U.S. oil production, making us more dependent on foreign oil. Yeah, I think the sweet spot for oil is like $65, $67 a barrel or something like that. Like, that's the sweet spot. Above that, it hurts demand. Below that, it hurts margins. Okay, I see the easiest way to set a stop. Okay, I see it. Yeah. Put it right here. Alright, there's our stop. Yeah, I didn't mean to sell that last one too, unfortunately. I really didn't want to sell it. But it's alright. We're pretty flat on the day. But still. Just stayed in it. Holding a lot of IONQ and QBTS. Yeah, quantum stocks dipping down some. I was looking to see if they would be cheap enough for me to buy. Right? Like, I was looking to see, maybe I got some cheap enough stuff to buy, but I mean, it's not unchanged, but it's a smaller degree. I think especially, yeah, so Treasury Secretary Besson on the Fed says there's a good chance of a 50 basis point cut. And so again, he's reiterating that there's a big chance of a 50 basis point cut now. He said, what we want is good data. On the BLS, I would not support halting job reports. I called for a shadow Fed chair, but I don't think so now. We are also looking at private sector people for the Fed. And this is Bassett speaking. He's going to cast a wide net on the Fed chair names, 10 to 11 different people. I would not expect Moran to stay on past the opening. He said if data had been accurate, possible Fed cuts earlier, there's a good chance of a 50 basis point cut. We should be 150, 175 basis points lower on the Fed rate now. I'm hopeful for September's Fed meeting. That's what he's saying. Yeah, the NASDAQ is just incredibly choppy right now. It's at all-time highs, but market doesn't know what it wants to do here. Saudis are buying oil at 60 or less and reselling it. Yeah, so we're just basically stuck in a sideways trade. I wanted to see if we break down. The more sideways we are, the more momentum we could potentially catch too. Yeah, so I'm looking at the news. The International Energy Agency increased its global oil supply forecast for 2025 by 400,000 barrels per day, 2.5 million BPD, following OPEC's decision to boost production. It's also revised its global demand forecast down, now anticipating growth of only around 680 BPD, down from 700, citing weak demand in key economies. This reflects a shift where consumers may be outpacing demand. Industry reports indicate that the U.S. crude oil inventory rose by 1.52 million barrels last week, that the summer driving season is winding down. Sign demand is easing. Yeah, a lot of people are saying it reflects short-term trends. Here's CL. Oil down to 62 a barrel, which is relatively low, but oil's been moving down. Really, oil's been moving down since start of this year. Yeah, we got PPI inflation data tomorrow. PPI inflation data drops tomorrow. PPI tomorrow is expected at 0.2% for PPI headline. Core is expected at 0.3%. So kind of mirroring CPI as well. We also have retail sales on Friday, which is relevant, maybe, and important. Yeah, Bullish is IPOing today. Circle Internet sees wider stablecoin adoption. All right, so did it just pop up there and stop me out and then come right back down, bro? That was a stop hunt if I've ever seen one. You don't love to see it, chat. You don't love to see it. But again, we're choppy right now. So that's how it goes, I guess. Ease it right now. I don't know why I've been sneezing lately. Weird. Ooh. Oh, sorry. Oh. Oh. Sneezing. Ugh. Gotta wipe my nose now. I don't know why I'm sneezing this morning. I've been sneezing for the last few days. Alright, we're back. Kind of. Honestly, I'm still kind of mad about this last position, bro. I'm gonna jump right back in here and be stubborn. I know that's a stop. I think we're kind of manic up here at 24s. I'm gonna short again. I'm trying to scale up my size and take different type of trades is what I'm really doing here. But I'm trying to establish a position that I can also add to once I get into the green. Don't you hate it when it was just a candle wick that did it too? This is just a candle wick that stopped me out. It wasn't even real price action. Did the NASDAQ do that? Let me see. Hold on. Micro NASDAQ. I don't think this is revenge trading. I think this is just understanding that I didn't want to get stopped out there. I'm actually going to take a little piece of this off right here and just bring down my losses on the day a little bit and then hold this one. These are longer term trades. So we got deep enough into the green. A lot of the time when a big fake out like this happens, we revert to the other side, which is what's happening now. Some of my best trades are trades where I get out and then get right back in. I'm not saying you should do that, but some of my best trades are trades when that happens. We essentially shorted the 200 exponential here is what we did. But my stop loss is going to move up for this one. So like, we're going to use right around the 200 EMA as a stop now and hope we reject. If we don't reject it, we go back up over it. I'm just going to get out slightly green or flat. Yeah, stop hunting maybe. Yeah. News time. We don't really have any big news today, man. I mean, we got PPI data day after tomorrow, or we have PPI data tomorrow. Yeah, Bitcoin's up a lot. I'm not telling anybody to buy anything because I really have no idea what we're gonna get there. What I do know is that Bitcoin is up, Nasdaq's around all-time highs, E-minis around all-time highs, S&P's around all-time highs. The Dow's probably around all-time highs as well. Let me check. Yeah, ideally, I just want to see us reject the 200 EMA. If we don't, you know, I'll cut it. But I'd love a rejection at the 200 exponential. The Dow's starting to fall a little bit as well here. But the Dow is at almost 45,000. Not quite at all-time highs. Its all-time highs were hit back at the end of July. But still trying. All right, we're right around the level where we will cut this if it starts to push over the 200 exponential. I'm going to let it test it like it's doing, but we're basically flat on this one. But I want to see if we reject quickly here. If we do, that's great. It can kind of confirm. If not, we're going to get out slightly green on this trade. Yeah, I'm just going to cut it right there. It might reject, but we made a little money on that trade. We're just really choppy right now. It's going to be hard to make money. Yeah, not investment advice, not liable if you lose. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Do not copy me, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Don't copy me. Understand all the stuff on screen. It's gonna be hard making money that way. Well, I would argue it's gonna be hard making money in this type of range. It's small, it's up and down, it's sideways. We're not really breaking to either direction. And so a market that looks like this, you can say, hey, which way are we gonna go? I don't think it's super weighted to one side. I guess I think it would be maybe a little bit more weighted to go up since we're at all-time highs. And I think as we get around the opening bell, that might happen. But we could also just break down here because we're up so much over the last 24 hours. Right? I think both sides make sense. Both arguments make sense. Both theses make sense. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting tight. If I enter a trade and we're immediately up 10 ticks, a lot of the time what you're going to see me do is set my stop for break even. That way, it's a risk-free trade. I could just let it sit there. If it goes against me, I'm flat. If it goes for me, I make money. You know, none of that situation involves losing. And so that's what you just saw me do, is that I got in, I was immediately up like whatever profit I was, and then I just set it to break even, and then it just kind of went up and stopped me out. And I actually made a little bit of money on the trade, but I don't think that's a bad risk management system. I think that's important to do. No major economic data today. No, not really. Yeah, I mean, I trade real money too. Like, I trade a mix of everything. Most of the time my strategies with real money are very simple. I just wait for big pullbacks that I buy up, usually, depending on what it is. Most of the time it involves stocks. I bought United Health the other day. We're up pretty big on all that stuff. Fairly large percentage as well and all this stuff. Like, we bought United Health the other day. Average price of 240. It's at 260s. Very nice percentage there, short term, in like a day or two. We bought PayPal. We're green on, I think. Yeah, we're up on PayPal. We've taken profit on majority of that position already. We bought, what else did we bought? We bought Amazon. We bought Amazon at 212. It's at 220s. We bought Apple and cut it within a few days. We bought it at like 210s. It went up to like 220s, 230s now. Is Vegas empty? I don't know. Is it? Is a 0.5% a gain per day considered good? Yeah, that's pretty good. It depends on the person though. But I would say 0.5% adds up. Yeah, and just to clarify, when I started shorting this hadn't happened yet, really. Like, I started shorting it back here, and so it wasn't quite a sideways. It had just rejected this top up at 25.10, and I was expecting it to go like this, and then it just kind of went like this. And so, you know, we can criticize the trade, but there's so much variance that happens with this stuff, man. Everybody wants to act like a genius, like they knew it was going to do what it was going to do, and like, I don't need that validation, really. As long as everybody here recognizes variance, it's all good. United Health up to 264, so I don't know. I've already taken a lot of profit on UNH. I think we will towards the end of August, beginning of September, until the Fed cut, if we do get it. Do you think the market will react? You think the market wants rate? I think the market wants rate cuts. I don't know if we're going to react positively once we get rate cuts. If you listen to the stream yesterday morning after CPI, one of the things I said was that I thought it was very probable we're going to break all-time highs. I think the market wants rate cuts, and what I said was that over the coming weeks, we might see the market get baked into a September cut expectation even more, and that might propel the market higher. That's exactly what we got yesterday. It doesn't mean it's going to hold necessarily, but remember, like, the market reacts proactively to the rate decisions, to the big catalyst, to the earnings, right? So a lot of the time we have good earnings, good revenue, good guidance in the market, and the stock drops 5% or whatever it is. The reason that happens is because the real moves are happening in the weeks prior to the earnings coming out, or more, or longer, not necessarily right when the earnings drop. And I think rate cut sentiment is going to be the same thing, where the market's more so reacting to September cuts now versus when we actually do cut. So we might actually see drops when we cut, I think. But I don't know if they're going to be big drops. We'll see. My dogs, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm watching this here. We'll see if the market rebounds. Music's a little quiet. Let me see if we can hype it up a little bit. SoFi to benefit. Everyone is a genius in a bull market. Yeah, that's right. Everybody buys. Hey, y'all do me a favor as my dogs are barking. I'm trying to mute it so you guys don't hear my dogs barking. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. Again, the big news today, FOMC rate cut odds are now at 96% likelihood for a cut in September. 96, Besant's pushing for a 50 basis point cut. The recent news that the president put in tariffs on companies. Now AMD and Nvidia have to pay 15% of their China sales to the U.S. government. It's kind of like a tax or a royalty to the U.S. government based on AMD and Nvidia chips in China specifically. Intel is now up over the last few days after meeting with the president. After the president pushed for him to resign, the CEO of Intel to resign, I mean, and now Nvidia's been pushing up. It's down a little bit on the day. Quantum stocks did drop their earnings yesterday, and they did not react well to it for most of them. Rigetti missed big, and more. So Rigetti missed big. We got other companies that we're waiting for. The big one next week is Nvidia, of course. Nvidia is the big one coming next week. We also have the FOMC minutes report next week. When's Nvidia earnings? I think Nvidia earnings, I don't know if they're next week. They might be the week after. I think Nvidia earnings are going to be at the end of the month, right? Yeah, the 27th, which is exactly 2 weeks from now. So it's the 27th for Nvidia. Circle. Yeah, I mean, I tend to think quantum will grow. I was honestly looking for some cheap quantum stocks to buy up if I could find them. So I was honestly looking for some quantum stocks to buy. Yeah, so now we're starting to push up. We get over 2410. We're going to be testing all-time highs early this morning again. Oh my gosh, dude. Why are my dogs barking like this, bro? Sorry, my dogs are like intruder. We had Brazilian retail sales. I don't know if y'all can hear them now. I kind of y'all might not be able to hear them. I kind of have the mic set to where you might not be able to hear the background. Can you hear my dogs barking in the background? Okay, good. Honestly, I got this mic set to where you can't even hear my dogs barking. That's great. That's great, honestly. So look, we're back at the top of the range. We're at 24,000. All-time highs on the NASDAQ are now at 24,017. 24,017 for the NASDAQ. It's pushing up a little bit. Oil's down still. Rigetti released earnings. And honestly, Rigetti's not that red. It's basically flat. It's at 1596. Previous closing price is 1620. So quantum stocks are still holding. All right, so the IIF says that emerging market equity saw a 16.3 billion inflow in July, which is the most since September of last year, while bonds recorded a 39.2 billion outflow, the highest since March. All right, NASDAQ's up over 24,000. It's making another push. You see the E-mini on the top. We can put gold up here. Gold decreasing a little bit. NASDAQ pushing up. Yeah, so the large inflows into emerging markets suggest that investors are rotating into higher risk, higher reward assets. Bond outflows at almost 40 billion, which is the largest since March, indicate investors are pulling capital from EM fixed income, possibly because yields remain attractive. Risk on bias, but with caution. Applied Digital, yeah, we can take a look at it. Here's APLD. Anything that looks cheap right now, Applied Digital. It's been running big too. It's at 15s. People getting too greedy. Yeah, I mean, we're continuing to break all-time highs. There might be some short ideas today, but right now we're too sideways. We're just not really doing anything. All right, so the president is also considering David Zervos and Rick Ryder for the Fed chairman. U.S. Treasury posted $291 billion budget deficit in July, the second largest deficit for any July on record. It marks a big reversal from June's 27 billion surplus. Government spending surged almost 10% year over year, 630 billion. Revenues rose 2.5% only year over year to 338 billion, including 29.6 billion in tariff revenue. The deficit is now up to 7.4% year over year, 1.63 trillion, putting this year on track for the third largest deficit in history. Yeah, you can kind of see that here. Here is the U.S. budget deficits from Zero Hedge. It's from Zero Hedge, but you can see we're the second largest, second largest, which is this year in 2025. So. Going on. Look at gold dump. Gold falling down a little bit here. Any stocks that look cheap? CoreWeave should drag APLD down as well. Yeah, it's probably sympathy movement. A lot of quantum stocks missed yesterday. CoreWeave is down a lot though. Like if you take a look at CoreWeave, it's one of those quantum stocks that's just down big amounts here. Look at this. So it was ripping up all day yesterday, almost at 150s. It's now down to 135s. Fairly large percentage here for CoreWeave. Yeah, we'll see. I think Kava's getting destroyed, right? Big revenue miss. Yeah, Kava's down 25% right now. It's down from 80s to 60s, roughly 25%. Very big drop for Kava after earnings. Sales missed expectations big, and Kava's down from 25% right now. If you take a look at CAVA, look at this drop for Kava. Down from 85 down to 63. Just massive dips. Kava. I like eating at Kava restaurant, but it got old kind of quickly. Okay, so according to Wolf Research, they say that earnings are strong, but valuations are back at nosebleed levels. He said with quarter 2 25 nearly complete, Wolf Research says results have been very solid of 452 S&P 500 companies, reporting 69% beat revenue estimates, 2.8% surplus, and 80% beat earnings forecast, 8.4% surprise, despite volatile U.S. tariffs and monetary policy. Nearly half gave quarter 3 guidance above expectations. As well, valuations have surged, the S&P trading at 22.3x forward earnings, near all-time highs, and Wolf sees seasonal volatility ahead, but says fundamentals are strong, supported by AI-driven trends and spending. All right, so look at this drop right now. Look at this big pullback here. Let's see if there's a reason for it. Again, we're just sideways trending here. Kava's Chipotle. I actually like Chipotle a little bit better. Kava is kind of like the Mediterranean version of Chipotle. It's got like hummus. It's got like kibbe. You know what I mean? It's got, yeah. It's like the Mediterranean version of Chipotle. Yeah, quantum's interesting because, again, quantum has superposition, which is like simultaneous processes, which is useful. You know, it means that your computer's going to run much faster. The problem is it's in its infancy. And so it's hard to gauge how, it's hard to, like, it looks probable that quantum is going to be the future. But it's not far enough into it in which it's guaranteed, in my opinion, right? Like, we could see another different type of system come through that replaces quantum. It's not looking very likely, especially with all the money that's getting poured into quantum, but it's possible. And so it's not without risk, but it's also one of those emerging markets where obviously there could be some big gains on the horizon. You just got to be careful with it. Yeah, AI, quantum, they're kind of parallel with not parallel, but AI is way more influential than quantum, but quantum, they pat each other on the back, is what I'm trying to say. I love hummus. I worked at a Lebanese restaurant a lot, and originally I didn't like hummus. It's an acquired taste. It's basically like a bean, you know? It's like beans, almost. But hummus is good. I dip bacon in hummus. Very good, very good. A related metric, the forward operating PE stands at 21.1x, down from both last quarter and a year ago. The trailing PE based on the last 12 months of actual earnings is significantly higher, around 29.8x as of August 12th. Quantum is Kava is a long hold, maybe 3 to 5 years, maybe. Restaurants can be seasonal though, you know. Yeah, open is interesting. The problem is that I've said it once, I'll say it again. If Zillow fails at something, what makes open succeed at it? That's my question. Are there any AI stocks that didn't do poorly on earnings? How did MU do on their earnings? I have to look. Open's earnings were bad. Their highlight was we didn't chapter 11. Yeah, that's why I'm not like, I think it's hard to invest in Open. I mean, if you know, if you're gonna invest in it, you know, you could throw $500 into it and then just sit on it, and you'll probably lose it. But if you don't lose it, you might make big money. Who knows? I don't know. I bought UNH a couple weeks ago, and so huh? Oh. Okay, guys. My kids are starting school today, so I'm gonna go jump in there and take some pictures with them. I'll be right back. Give me like a minute or two. I'll be right back. My kids are taking school pictures. So. Again, while I'm gone, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. Gold's breaking down. The NASDAQ is very flat, very sideways. It's not really doing anything here. We're just not really doing much. And so we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, the market's so sideways right now, man. Y'all yell at me if the market... Again, I'll be back in like 1 minute. 1 minute, chat. Don't you leave. I'll be back in 1 minute. All right, I'm back. All right, do we break highs again right now, man? We're pretty close to it. We're starting to push up here. I can't really justify taking a position in this. We're so choppy right now, chat. And I blame you. It's y'all's fault, man. Gold looks heavy. Yeah, gold does look heavy. When do y'all start school, Matthew? I don't know. Most of the time we start school, what, like early August? Listen, I'm ready for them to go back too. I'm for it. I might have rug pulled you, but you deserved it. Take a position. I will take a position. I'll buy a pullback if we start to get up here. If we start to get up here and then we dip, I'll buy that, right? But I gotta wait for us to get up here because right now we are in this range. You know, so like this doesn't mean anything. Like this is, you know, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, you know? And so until we get over here and then maybe pull back and then I can buy that and then ride the run up here. That's the plan as of now. I don't know if that's what I'm gonna do, but that's the plan as of now. Yeah, Big Papa Paper Hands is my name. Early September. Not for me, man. I don't know what school y'all are going to. When, for the parents out there, when do your kids start school? Mine always started early August. Gold bouncing a little bit, NASDAQ coming down. 24,000 is absolutely a level here. 24K just makes sense to watch. I think we got to watch the bottom of this range now here. I should draw my levels here. Hold on. We got 25 right there. Might be a big little milestone level. Mine started last week, early August. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the South, you know. Maybe that's why. I don't know why my mic is back to rainbow. Don't judge me for this. It's not like I set the mic to this, all right? I can't control it. Here, hold on. Honestly, this mic is kind of genius. Okay, I can't even knock this mic's the way it tricks you into downloading its software. It knows nobody's about to download the mic software. So what does it do? It sets the color to rainbow. And then it says, if you want to change the color outside of rainbow, you got to download the software. I can't even get mad at this software. That's a smart move, you know? You want people to download your software, that's what you do. All right, so we're pushing up. We're pushing up. Let's see if it holds. But not quite up there to where I want to buy this yet. There we go. Now it's green. Y'all like light green like this? I think the light green is the coolest one. Smart move. I can't even get mad. Is the music too loud? Okay. Still sideways here, chat. It looks like we're kind of trending upward a little bit here, though. But we're so sideways in pre-market right now. This is like a, I think it's like a quadcast something. I don't freaking know, man. It's better than my last mic, I'll say. I think it is, at least. Yeah, UNH ripping up here. Still, you'd love to see it. We bought this thing at the perfect time, too. We bought it literally right here. I don't know if it was exactly right here. Might have been back here or something, but we bought this thing at the perfect time. AMD's moving up. Yeah, so I set it to where it has some suppression on it, to where it's not going to pick up my dogs or the typing or anything. It might pick up a little bit of the typing, but outside noises is not going to pick up as much. There's a noise suppressor. There's a noise suppressor. Yeah, we got the green mic today. Does that mean bullishness? It's really hard to make money in this. I might start trading gold. Gold's moving a little bit more volatile. All right, so Bitcoin marks its highest daily close ever at 120,107, according to Gemini. Yeah, here's Bitcoin. I can trade micro Bitcoin in futures as well. John, do you ever tell your chat when you buy shares of a company? Yeah, I mean, I bought all of these stocks on stream for the most part. When I bought all these stocks, honestly, what I did was I used the chat kind of like a scanner. I said, hey, chat, what are some underrepresented but strong stocks? And UNH was kind of my idea, I think, because I had seen UNH dump big. Like, UNH is down a ridiculously large percentage. If you look at a long-term chart, it was at $600 since March. It's down from 600 down to 200 and something. And I think UNH, United Health, is a pretty strong company. And I think it made sense to buy the dip. It was all the way down at 230s. You know, I think that just made sense to buy the dip. I did this with PayPal as well. I'm looking for companies that I think are going to be around a long time, but that are down over the last like 6 months, 3 months. Period. Anything that's short term. I don't want to see something that's downtrending for years. I want to see something that is generally strong but down big over the last 2 or 3, 4 months. And those are usually the stocks that I'm the most comfortable with buying and holding. Yeah, we don't have any 8:30 news today. We don't. There's just not anything going on. Yeah, we don't have anything. We got a bunch of Fed speakers. The president's also set to speak at 11:15 today. Is that correct? Let's look this up. All right, so we're finally starting to see a rip here. Okay, so around Beijing E-Town Semiconductor Technology says AMAT Applied Materials illegally obtained and used the company's core technology secrets related to plasma sources and wafer surface treatment. It says it alleges AMAT disclosed tech secrets by applying for a patent in China and claimed patent application rights. Okay, so the president is scheduled to speak at 11:15 a.m. at the Kennedy Center making a public announcement. All right, so the Nasdaq's starting to push up. We might buy a dip here. Small. We're going to take 2 contracts here. Small. Maybe look to add a little bit more at 24. See if we start pushing towards all-time highs. But we're going to take 1 here. All-time highs, remember, are up there at 17. We are now at 4. So we're close. Bulls might step in. Could be a squeeze down, but we'll look to add a little bit at 24. If it doesn't hold at 24, we'll cut it. Soundhound, I think, is interesting, but it's small. SOUN. It's interesting, but it's small and it's volatile. Soundhound is interesting, but small, but volatile nonetheless. Poland is also agreeing to spend $3.8 billion to improve its F-16 fighter jet fleet. Turtle power, I guess. You know, I set that ringtone not even realizing it was the Ninja Turtle thing. And I was a Ninja Turtle fan growing up. Early 90s. When I was like really young, I was into Ninja Turtles. Last week he said he was suiting out semi-tariffs. Sure, John. Maybe it was subconsciously, I don't know. Alright, here's the rip up that we wanted. And then we just dipped all the way back down here. We just tapped 2410s. We're basically flat right now, though. Like, the way I do it is I want to get into a position where I can add to it. And so I take really small, like, micro contract positions, and then I add to it if it goes in my favor enough. And so what happens there is I think sometimes I'm wrong a little bit more often, just because I'm trying to take little feeler positions to get into the green so I can add to it a little bit more. Which I don't think is necessarily bad. I think as long as I can keep them small and not get stubborn with them. Sorry, Jamie. Go Tigers. Yes, sir. We're over 24, though. That makes me optimistic. That's why I'm buying here, but... And we got a slight uptrend. We're close enough to all-time highs where we might get some momentum up there, but you never know. What did my poll say? 70% of people think we break 24.5 today. I don't even know if that's going to happen. There we go. That's good. All right, I'll add a little bit more here. Let's see if we make this pop up. Test 2410s at least, but we got into the green now. Trying to take longer positions here as well. All right, let's see if we break all-time highs. We're close. We're about 7. We're about $7 away from all-time highs now. I gotta be careful with this in pre-market though, but $7. We're pushing up. I'm just hoping this 2410 level doesn't hold as resistance. I don't want that as resistance. There we go. You love to see it. We'll hold this break even now, so it's not going to be a losing trade. And we can just kind of sit on this and let it work. If we get high enough, we might take one off here. There we go. We're just going to take one off. And then again, we're going to hold it mostly flat on the rest. All-time highs again on the NASDAQ are at 24.17. We are at 24.11 now. We're about $6 away from all-time highs. Let's see if we hold support at 24.10 now. All right, there we go. We're starting to push up towards all-time highs. There we go. We're right there. We got up $1 away from all-time highs. I'm going to add to this and then hold this one. Close enough. If you push, we're right there. We're right at all-time highs. Yeah, we got to cut this now. So we got out flat on the rest. We made money on the trade, but gave it a little chance. Might get bought up here and keep pushing. But I only want to attack the range. Remember, guys, so I just want to attack the range up to the high of the day. I don't necessarily want to target the break of it, if that makes sense. You could probably maybe look for like a 24.10 dip. But we made money there. I'll take it. Green is good. Besson already spoke. He basically said he's pushing for a 50 basis point cut. He essentially said that we should have already cut a couple different times. Yeah, I might buy a little pullback here if we get one, but if not, it's all good. Couple green trades back to back now, which is nice, but I'm gonna buy back in here and maybe add down to 24.10. Take up to 6. I'm trying to take larger size. Got a flat now. If we push back up, I just want to see if we break that 17 level. There we go. We're up there. There. All right, we took half. Took half off. Yep. Another piece off there. Another piece off there, and we'll hold the rest now. We'll look for 25 up here. 25 I think makes sense. Maybe we'll add a little bit more if we get a situation with it. All right, we're green on the day now. We're green on the trades that we've taken so far. So far, so good. Again, I'm working on taking longer term trades. When we spike like that, though, I think I gotta just take some profit here. Again, Standard Chartered raised ETH prices. The price target, I mean, now expects ETH to surpass November 21 all-time high of 48.66 by Q3 of this year. 7,500 by the year end, they think. Palantir over 200. Or close to 200, I mean. 190. Palantir's flying up. It's one of those stocks that big. Yeah, again, I'm just kind of sitting this. I'm looking for 25 up there. I want to see if we break 25. All right, so we broke all-time highs again. We're at 17 now, which is the previous all-time high. We'll see. If we keep pushing to 25 is what I'm looking at. Bouncing a little bit here. There we go, making another push. We're at 20 now. I'll just be patient on this last one. Yeah, but I mean, if you're shorting all-time highs in the stock market, you're taking some pretty risky bets here, brother. You know? Like, if you're shorting all-time highs in the market, that's a risky thing, dude. Like, you got to just be careful and understand. When we're at all-time highs, momentum's in play. Right? Valuations, all that stuff. Like, yeah, you can look at it. When we're at all-time highs, momentum's in play. The closer we get to all-time highs, the more likely it is we test it. Which is what we just did, which is what the trade I just took was based around. We're kind of slowing down up here, though. If we don't get a big, like, rip up, I'm just going to cut this. And just lock it in. There's the rip, though. Okay. As long as we don't get a sideways move. Okay, we're just going to cut this up here. All right, we're out. Nice little trade there. You mean overbought, Lee? Assuming you mean overbought. The E-mini continues to break too. Look at this. So E-mini up to, I think this is all-time high, 64.86. Yeah, all-time highs on the E-mini. So the S&P, E-mini is the S&P 500. Or the ES is what I should say, is the S&P 500. Yeah, looking at our polls, I asked people, are we going to break 24.5 today? People say yes. I don't know if we do. Maybe. We got a lot of time, though. Yeah, that's not bad. Closing a doji. Yeah, the market's so sideways right now, though, man. We're just not really doing anything. Also, y'all check out Top Step. There's 25, which is my original profit target. Again, check out Top Step. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money. And so if you fund your own account tens of thousands of dollars, you're probably going to lose. Let's just be real here. Most day traders lose. You can either fund your own account, probably lose it if you're a new day trader, or you can try Top Step. The base one's $50, the middle one's $100, the top one's $150 a month. Not the end of the world if you lose that, versus thousands of dollars in losses that most new day traders end up taking if they fund their own account and lose it. And so it just makes sense. In the futures market, you can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT rule, get you around the PDT rule. And if you good enough to pass their test, it's a reasonable 3-to-2 ratio. If you can make 3K in profit without losing 2K, you can pass the test. And once you do that, they fund you between 50K up to 150K. You get to keep your first 10K in profit and then 90% split afterwards. It just makes sense. They paid out hundreds of millions, fund thousands. Some of the most reliable in the world with payouts. Just a great way to learn. Great way to learn. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link up. They are an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm biased because I get paid by them, but genuinely useful, in my opinion. Genuinely useful. Understand all the stuff on screen, though. I can't guarantee anything. I'm not an investment professional. Don't copy me. It's not really a trap. I'm just using levels. Like that last trade I was taking here. Remember, I talked about if we pulled back to 24, I was going to add to it, and then I was trying to take it up to, it's psychological levels. So for me, I'm looking at 24,000. Probably one of the biggest psychological levels on any chart right now is 24K. Right? We also have the 200 exponential. That's right around that spot. Just a lot of reasons to potentially bounce. And then remember, I talked about 24, 25, and look at the rejection we get here. It doesn't mean we're going to continue down, but, you know, kind of a quarter level, if that makes sense. I look at like quarter levels, like 25, 50, 75, 100, so forth and so on. The biggest ones are straight whole dollars like 24, but even just quarter dollar levels, if we're over all-time highs, they can act as resistance as well, right? So if you're looking for levels past all-time highs where we don't have a lot of price history, you can do that really well. Yeah, I got out $3 away from my entry, so I stuck to it for the most part. At a certain point, it's not really worth the risk, I think. Or like maybe $5 away. Yeah, human psychological numbers. They want to look at whole dollars, quarter dollars, half dollars, big areas on the chart that stick out psychologically. That's why we do it. Y'all really can't hear my dogs bark? That's good, man. You guys think there's any chance we get a 50 basis point cut in September? I don't know. Yeah, any chance you guys think? Target? Yeah, Target's down a lot still, huh? Yeah, it's down at 104s. I mean, it could always go lower, but... Yeah, I think 25 is the most probable one, but you never know. We'll see. All right, so now we're over that 25 level. Good, man. Is the Fed watch really that high at 99%? Oh, wow. Now there's a... It's 99.9% likely that we cut rates in September now. There's a 0.1% chance of a 50 basis point cut after what Besant said. So look at the pivot. Now we got a 0.1% chance of a 50 basis point cut in September, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm over here like, why are my dogs barking? It's the pool guy. Yeah, I think they're going to be balanced at... Yeah, I think they're going to be balanced. You never know, though. If we get, like, look, if we get more weakness in the labor market, if ADP non-farm employment shows up weak, if non-farm payrolls show up weak, if PCE inflation shows up low, we could get a 50 basis point cut. So if we get weakness in the labor market, more economic reports that show weakness in the labor market, it's certainly possible that we do 50. But again, we'd have to wait for that data to show up. Yeah, so Treasury Secretary Besant said rate cuts could start with 50 in September. A lot of people are using this as optimism for like crypto. Bitcoin hit 121s. AMD shares extend pre-market gain to 3%. So look at AMD run here. AMD up to 180s right now, 180s. You're saying there's a chance. There's a chance. Again, the probabilities might swing depending on the data, right? United Health is still pumping, but the probabilities might swing depending on the data. If we get, again, if we get weak labor market, low inflation, it's going to open up the odds for bigger cuts, and we'll see. 50 might scare the market. Yeah, that's true. It's possible. Yeah, look at AMD. It's up to 180. Still really pretty big away from all-time highs, but still, man. Dogecoin's up. Yeah. XRP is up. United Health is up. We're green in all of our investments and longer term trades today. Crocs were even green on. But we actually made money on our Crocs position here too. Average price is 76. It hit almost 80 this morning. Rate cuts likely to push the market up since safe money rates are no longer available. Have to go to market for good rates. Yeah, that's true. CPI was yesterday read. It came in flat to lower than expected for headline, and core slightly. Core was basically flat as well, though, to be honest. It's crazy. Core at 3.1%. Yeah, but 3.1% was expected. And again, like inflation data, just like the big thing with the data yesterday is that they just didn't want it to be hot. Like it's a win, it's a W if it doesn't come in higher than expected. Like that's what it actually is. Like it's a win if inflation doesn't heat up substantially. So if it comes in higher than expected or as expected, that's very good. That's very good. And that's why the market, because the market wants rate cuts. If the data comes in hot, that pushes back the odds of rate cuts substantially, and that's not what the market wants, right? The market wants the exact opposite. They want lower inflation. Maybe even a weak labor market might mean markets go up. Yeah. Yeah, so we're still just pushing here. You can watch 50 up here. 50 makes sense. 24.50. Yeah, we're up all-time highs again. We're continuing to break all-time highs over and over again. So yeah, we're pushing. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I think people looked at headline more than core, even though core is less volatile. Idea prop firms limit the profit you can make. Well, yeah, they also limit the losses you can take as well. You know, I mean, if you only give one side to it, sure, but they limit the losses you can make. Again, this is coming from somebody. I lost $4 grand in like 2-3 weeks when I first started day trading, and this is not an uncommon tale of a trader. This is what happens to most new traders who fund their own account. Most of them lose it. All right, so we can either fund our own account and probably lose it, thousands of dollars, trying to look cool in markets because prop firms limit the amount of money we can make, or we can limit our risk with prop firms as well. And I think that's a much more obvious answer to this, but you know, it's all good. Giving up my short position, down about 4,500. Why are you shorting all-time highs, brother? I mean, I know I did it earlier, but that's a short-term trade. I made $100 long in a useless fart coin. Congrats. $100 is $100, bro. Good job. You think the market is overbought? It's hard to tell. I think the biggest question mark you have regarding markets right now, there's two of them. What is the extent at which AI grows? Which I think is pretty probable to be a lot. That's number one. Because if AI continues to grow fast and more companies IPO and grow and build, market might keep going up for a long time. Number two is, when are we going to start to see the real immediate impacts of quantum? You know, if quantum starts to take off and becomes that next big popular sector, and they start getting added to the S&P and the NASDAQ and start being influentially weighted to the S&P and NASDAQ, I think that could cause markets to go up even more and more. Now, there's always in those situations, there's always the risk of a big turnaround, like the dot-com crash. And so, as with most answers, it depends. I don't know whether the market's overbought right now. It seems pretty strong. It seems pretty momentally weighted to the upside. But we could certainly turn. I mean, I think we're up enough to where we certainly could turn. Once selling starts to happen, it could spiral into like a snowball effect of selling, and it could get bad for sure. Not saying it will, but the market generally, the biggest edge statistically long term is that it's going to go up, right? Like, that's why I always tell people, like, people that are betting against the market long term, it's one of the bigger sucker bets you can make, right? It's like people that get talked into thinking the market's going to crash every other year or every year. Those are usually the people that are getting upset when the market's breaking highs and all this different stuff. And that's fine. Maybe the market does turn. But the biggest statistical edge is that the market's going to go up long term. That's just what it does for the most part. Over a century of data, that's what it does. And so I'm not really going to necessarily bet against that. I would rather wait. I'm buying underrepresented stocks right now. Like, I bought UNH down big over the last 3 months. Bought Crocs down big over the last few months. I bought HIMS, which I don't think my HIMS position is green. I think I'm actually red in HIMS, but it's actually up a lot today too. I bought PayPal. I'm green on that one. I bought Amazon. I bought Apple. These are all stocks that are down a little bit over the last month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. And so when markets are like this, I'm just buying underrepresented stocks. Right, exactly. People always think the market's overbought at all-time highs, but it spends a lot of time there, and generally it's going to go up. I think the bullish IPO is interesting. That's a very good response to the statement about prop firms. Top 3 debaters in the world right now, you know. I got a video on how I draw these levels. Just go watch the video. I don't know if HIMS is still okay. I really don't know. I ended up buying it. My average price is 52. We're at 48 right now. I'm down small. I'm down small. But the other 5-6 stocks I bought are green, so we're up. We're up overall net for sure. Yeah, yearly chart on the SPY. Yeah, I mean, the 2008, the people who did the worst in 2008 are people that got emotional and sold. We ran after 2008. All right, so Russia's taking measures to partially restrict calls on Telegram and WhatsApp. Amazon announces grocery expansion just now as well. Tens of millions of Prime members can now shop perishable groceries alongside the rest of Amazon's same-day selection with fast, free delivery. Ooh, dude, that's going to really help Amazon, I think, man. If I could buy groceries on Amazon, I think that's going to do really well. Yeah, so Bethan said there's a strong likelihood the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates by 50 next month. He noted that the sharp downward revisions to payroll suggest the Fed could have lowered rates as his last two meetings. There tells me a very good chance of 50 basis point cut, he told Bloomberg TV, adding he's hopeful for the September meeting. And now the odds for September cut are up. Or a 50 basis point cut for September is up. I mean, it's not a lot, I think, right now, but it might continue to swing back and forth. All right, we're testing 25 now. I personally wouldn't buy groceries on Amazon. Why not? All right, new all-time highs on the NQ 2433. Amazon's starting to pop too on this news. Look at this, it's up to almost 222. I think I'm still in Amazon actually. I am. Okay, good. This is actually benefiting me. Yeah, Eli Lilly failed to follow through with their weight loss drug results. Their weight loss drug results were not good. Amazon's now starting to sell perishable groceries. Same day delivery. So you can basically buy groceries on Amazon, have them delivered same day. Yeah, I mean, my wife likes to pick out the actual fruit. Selective. Like, she likes to be selective about the actual fruit she buys. And so something we'll probably do is we'll probably order anything like boxed from Amazon and then go pick out our fruits in store. It'll just be a shorter trip to the store, if that makes sense. Or how's Nike doing? I'm looking at Nike. Nike, it's fashion. It changes a lot, but there's a big ecosystem around Nike products. So, yeah, Nike's up like 50% since April. We're starting to chop sideways now. We're opening up close to all-time highs today, probably, unless we turn over the next 20 minutes. I don't like the catalyst in which Eli Lilly is down, Pew. Hey, what's up, Tiny? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, I just don't like the catalyst for Eli Lilly being down so much. Yeah, but is it Amazon destroying all mom and pop stores, or is it the nature of technological evolution? Right? Is it Amazon destroying it, or is it just technology evolving past brick and mortar stores? I would argue it's not Amazon. If Amazon didn't do it, somebody else would. You see it like Chewy and pet foods and other places. So I would argue it's not Amazon necessarily. It is instead everything growing to be digital. You know? Dude, it's the mom and pop stores hurting themselves. Every time I go in, they're way overpriced, not aggressive to make a sale. They'll let me walk with any bargain. Yeah, but I think you have to understand they're hiring people. And they're usually hiring like teenagers and people who are getting paid very low amounts of money. And so why would those people have any... Most of the time, teenagers don't care. Doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes they do. But most of the time, they're going to do the base, like the bare minimum to get the job done. You know? That's how it goes. That's why fast food outside of Chick-fil-A is not really known for having great customer service. Unless they're making commissions, there's no incentive for them to close. Is what I'm trying to say. And again, look, things are moving digital. I don't want to go to a freaking store. I hate the store. Carol, like, I hate the grocery store. There is no place I would... there's no other place I dislike more going to than the grocery store. Like, my ADHD kicks in, I get bored. I'm walking around the store, I'm bugging Carol to leave. I'm like, hey, let's go. This is boring. Carol's a textbook overbuyer too, and like when I grew up, my dad was frugal. So like when we went and bought stuff at the store, I got off-brand cereal. Like we bought the cheap stuff, you know. And so even though we have plenty of money, I still get stressed out going to the grocery store. I think I'd rather just not go. Carol's filling that cart too, you know. I freaking hate the grocery store. My son hates it too. I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't necessarily think I'm taking pride in having ADHD. I think I just recognize when it causes problems. You know? It's not like I'm bragging because I have ADHD. I think it's more so going to the store, it kicks in a little bit and I get bored easily. Yeah, I got you. I'll put the video up on how I would draw the levels. But at the same time, I think I would rather have ADHD than not have it. Genuinely. I don't necessarily think it's a... I don't think it hurts me. I think it's actually really beneficial. Wait, let me find the video. Okay, so here is the level video. Hold on. Dude, I get sold by salespeople so much. I'm too nice. All right, Nasdaq's testing all-time highs. We're at 24,030. All right, market's testing all-time highs. We dipped down. We hit 2417, which is the previous all-time high. We bounced directly off of it. Just broke all-time highs again on the NQ. New all-time highs on the Nasdaq now 3650. 3650. $36.50 new all-time highs. Could be a liquidity grab here though, because we've broken highs so much. So we might tap it and then dump down. We might not. We might continue up. It just depends on what stocks do. Just be careful here. Oh, sorry, Pawn. I didn't see you were going to grab it. I just grabbed it quickly. I just know exactly which one it is. It's the same with other categories like shopping. While I see it makes your life easier, it also takes precious parts of your life away. I don't know, man. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it gives you more time to do other stuff. I don't necessarily see spending time at the grocery store precious. I would actually call it the opposite. Amazon's still pushing up over 222.09s now. Nasdaq's pushing towards all-time highs. I think my wife she likes shopping. Yeah, market's still pushing up. Pre-market's just getting strength show up here. Do we keep going up, guys? Let me know. I don't necessarily like it. I think we've broken highs too much. I think this might actually be one we pull back on, but I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. How come they don't do CPI and PPI same day? It's usually consecutive days. It's usually like Tuesday and Wednesday or Wednesday and Thursday for CPI and PPI. Sometimes PPI actually comes first. But it varies. Strong opinions today? I don't know if anything I'm saying is necessarily super strong in terms of like controversial. Yeah, I like Halo 2. Halo 2 is fun. Halo 2 was the first online Halo. I was a big Halo player. All right, we're pulling back. We're at almost 25s right now. See if we bounce here at 25s. Oh, others? Yeah. What do you think of gold? Gold, I'm kind of torn on. If fear gets stroked in markets, gold might continue to go up. But it could also follow markets in a macro sense as well. Kind of different in terms of following things. Like if fear is high, gold can spike, but gold can also just follow the market up. Yeah, the future of groceries, it's going to be digital, you know. And you also have to understand that now Amazon owns two different parts of it, right? So Amazon owns Whole Foods now. So Amazon owns Whole Foods as well as shipping groceries online. And so they own both sides of it. If you want to pick out your vegetables, you can go to Whole Foods. If you don't feel like picking any of that stuff out and you just want to ship to your door, you can use their other side of it. CPI is tomorrow. And so either way, it's benefiting Amazon. Can't eat digital groceries. Yeah. All right, guys, we got 12 minutes left. I think 99-cent stores are going out of business, though, specifically because of the dynamic we talked about where everything's digital. You know, everything's digital. Even none of the dollar stores actually sell stuff for $1 anyway. Inflation has happened. And so you're not getting anything for $1 anyway. You know, everything's going digital. I think Dollar General, Dollar Tree are just going to start going out of business eventually. Where are they at now? So I had this argument a few years ago, and people disagreed with me. And they referenced small country towns that still use them. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the trend, these things are weak. Digital stuff's just taking over. Big Lots recently filed for bankruptcy, didn't it? It got delisted now. Oh no, Big Lots is out there. Yeah, Big Lots is not even a stock anymore. And so you see companies like this, they're just continuing to fail. And I think the next ones that are coming are Dollar Tree, Dollar General. All right, guys, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Honestly, the 90s were a great time, bro. That was like my year. Those were my years, man. I remember growing up. I skateboarded too. So I was like a skateboarder in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s. Honestly, Instagram and Facebook have been showing me skateboarding videos now, and I've been watching them. Yeah, from somebody that skateboarded a lot when I was young, I still have the itch to go do it. I wish I would have taught my son skateboarding from an earlier age. You know, I went with jiu-jitsu and baseball, but if I could go back, I'd probably teach him skateboarding too. Now all the kids are basically dressing like we did in the 90s anyway. They got bleach blonde hair, you know. They've got oversized t-shirts, baggy jeans, skateboard shoes, rollerblades, weird necklaces. You know, it's the same style. It's the exact same style, except for the shorts. The shorts are definitely not what we wore. Now they're kind of like 80s shorts, but outside of that, it's pretty similar. Even like neon and stuff. Iced out Rolexes have always been a thing. Chains have as well. They've been big since. All right, here we go. We're about to break all-time highs again, maybe. We're at 34s. All-time highs are 36.50, I think. S&P breaking all-time highs as well in the E-mini. ES. We're testing it at least. 64.88. 50 new all-time highs on the E-mini. NASDAQ all-time highs at 36.50. Best Buy? Yeah, I think they're a little bit more resilient because nobody wants to buy a computer. You mean BBY? They're a little bit more resilient. Nobody wants to buy a computer online. But they got worse margins than online stores as well. So I think it's kind of a scratch there. Yeah, I think it's interesting just because, like, I saw somebody put out a theory that said the Matrix is true. And I'm going to preface it with, I don't necessarily agree with that. But the Matrix said that the late 90s was the pinnacle of humanity. Like, tech was there, but it wasn't all encompassing like it is now. And maybe that's true. I don't know. I think it's just nostalgic for us adults who grew up in the 90s. That's what I think it is. Of course, we're going to say that's the best time, but if you ask somebody from earlier generations, they're going to say the late 60s were the best time, and they're going to say, you know, the 80s were the best time. It just depends on the generation. We all have biases towards that type of stuff. Anyways, NASDAQ's right up there at all-time highs. We're at 2436. 50 for all-time highs. We're at 35s now. Opening bell is only in 7 minutes. You might have missed something from yesterday. Fernando said, did I miss something today? We got neutral to low CPI inflation data. Core CPI a little bit higher, but it was basically as expected. I saw Market Watch was expecting 3.1%, and that's what we showed for core. So as expected for core, as expected for both headline and month and core month-over-month readings yesterday, and then lower than expected for year-over-year CPI. And so what that did is open the door more for rate cuts in September. We got Besson out here speaking today saying it's possible we get a 50 basis point cut in September. And if you take a look at the odds changing here, you know, now we actually have, okay, it's pivoted back. It's kind of going back and forth. But the odds are now of a 99.9% chance of a 25 basis point cut. Hey, thank you, Rusty, for the donation, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you, sir. Yeah, all good, man. I appreciate it, Rusty. Thank you, sir. Yeah, all-time highs are running, man. Crypto up on increased odds of rate cuts. Most crypto is up right now. Bitcoin up to 121s today. So we're getting there. We got 5 minutes left into the opening bell. NASDAQ just broke all-time highs now. New all-time high is 2439.75 is the new NASDAQ all-time high. NQ all-time high 2439.50 actually. 2439.50, basically 2440. Still breaking all-time highs here. Right into the opening bell in about 4 minutes. I remember I don't remember the show Street Sharks, but I had Street Sharks. I had the Tiger Shark one. Everybody wanted what one? I had the Tiger Shark one and the Killer Whale one. I remember. There was one Street Sharks Christmas. All right, we just broke highs again. We're at 2440s. Yeah, I had the Great White, the Tiger Shark, and then the Killer Whale one with the tongue. I remember that. I don't think I ever watched the show. The 90s toys. All right, we're still breaking highs again into the opening bell. We got 3 minutes left, chat. See what happens. S&P 500 is breaking all-time highs. Amazon's pushing up on, they're going to be starting shipping perishable groceries. Yeah, I'm in UNH still. I've scaled out of some of it, but I'm in Amazon and UNH right now. You mean time the top, Marcus? Yeah, there's a hammerhead. I think too. There's 8 of them. All right, guys, we're still pushing up. Watch 2450 now. 2450. Opening bells in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. The cartoons I generally watched was I watched Sonic a lot. I remember watching Sonic. I think it was Saturday morning. I watched Sonic. I watched Captain Planet a little bit. I watched Power Rangers when I was a kid too. All right, so we're starting to dip down some here. Watch 2450. Yeah, I liked Rugrats and Doug. I remember those. Those were on Nick. All right, so we're pulling back. Amazon just dipped all the way down to 222.02. So Amazon just dropped like 50+ cents in a minute. I don't know why. Opening bells in less than a minute and a half. We got about a minute and 10-15 seconds left. Yeah, I was really into Pokemon as well. I played the Pokemon Game Boy games when they first came out. And then I also, right when Pokemon got big, I was slanging Pokemon cards with my friends at the bus stop. I remember that. All right, guys, we got less than a minute. Yeah, markets are running ahead of the opening bell. Y'all just be careful. We got some mania here in the open. Y'all just be careful. A sell-off could happen anytime. Just be careful. All right, 20 seconds. All right, here we go. Here's the opening bell. Make sure you put it in 2x speed, hit the live button. You might be a little delayed. So hit the live button, put it in 2x speed. There's the bell. All right, look, we tapped 2450. Look at this blue level here, 2450. We tapped it, rejecting down now. Amazon spiked at the opening bell, though. I'm going to sell a little bit of my UNH trade. It's because we're up so much in this thing, man. Yeah, I gotta wait 5 minutes at least. Plus, I might wait a little bit longer. I'm trying to take longer term range trades, not momentum scalps. And so, if we can pass maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then we dip down to 25s or maybe even 24.10 here, I might buy those levels. But for now, I think I'm just gonna sit tight. Bitcoin dominance tanking. We got Ukraine striking Putin's largest crude export pumping station. They say it's going to disrupt crude, which could make crude spike a little bit, no? Just based off of supply and demand. You never know, though. All right, so we're starting to get some rebounds here back up. M's back up to green on the day, bounced pretty big at the opening bell. Look at this, we're about to break all-time highs again. Just did. We broke all-time highs. New all-time highs are 53s. 53.50 is what I'm showing here for the NASDAQ. 53, new all-time high. 53.50, 54, 54.50 on the NASDAQ. Breaking all-time highs again. We're too close to the bell for me to trade this, though. I'm not really interested in trading this. Too close to the opening bell. How you guys doing today? Y'all red or green right now? It's a little risky. I'll just be careful, man. Still pushing up. New all-time high 65s roughly. 63. Yeah, I just gotta wait till it comes back down to earth a little bit here, man. But the momentum's on the upside. Again, this is why I never shorted all-time highs, really. Like, I'm not gonna trade against all-time high momentum here. NASDAQ's pushing up big. I gotta give it a couple minutes out until I stop trading. I'm still investing and stuff, but 62s, 63.25s, new all-time highs. On the NASDAQ just broke it again. 63.50 new all-time highs. Seems a little heavy now though, but you never know. Too close to the opening bell for me to trade. I'm gonna be patient here. Let's watch 50, see if we bounce right there. All right, so we bounced right at 50, got up to 64.50s. Still breaking all-time highs up to almost 24.70s now. Yeah, this is a crazy open right now, man. We are flying past all-time highs over and over and over again. Watch 50 here. Watch 50. Who would buy this market highs? A market that wants rate cuts. I'm going to add a little bit to my HIMS position here. Look, we bounced right there at 24.50s. Let's see if we continue up. Look at AMD ripping. AMD is one of the reasons we're ripping. Also, Amazon here. Amazon's flying up. Yeah, banks. Yeah, the Russell doing really well. RTY. Banks. It's looking a little heavy, though. I'm not giving anybody advice. I don't even know what advice is. Not an investment professional. Y'all check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. There's no PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, Gold. Most day traders lose money, so it just makes sense to try them instead of risking thousands of your own money. $50 a month for the base one. You pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. They pay out millions, fund thousands. If you fail, you're out $50. It's the best of both worlds. Limited risk, good reward target. You get to keep your first 10K as well. Futures market, very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT rule, gets you around the PDT rule and more. So, yeah, if you want to check it out, there's the link. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased because I get paid by them. But we got 50 here. I mean, we're 7 minutes into the day. But I don't really like this on either side. We're green on the day. We made money in pre-market. I just think that shorting doesn't make any sense because we're at all-time highs and we might just rip up. Longing doesn't really make too much. I mean, it makes more sense than shorting, but it's also incredibly risky because we're up so much right now in pre-market that we could fill some of that gap to the downside. Again, and I guess if I had to pick one, I'd choose long, but I don't really like either one of them right now. I would much rather like a pullback to like 24 or a pullback to 24.10s with a small risk. See if we could move back up to the highs of the day, and then I think maybe within we could also just reject back down and you know, we're just up so much. We got the press speaking at 11 something. Yeah, here's 75 right here. You can watch that level, but we're holding at 50 and ripping. Just broke I think we're gonna break all-time highs, of course. Yep, just broke all-time highs again on the NASDAQ. So I bought HIMS almost at the low of the day today. You love to see it. A good time to buy it, I guess. All right, so now we're kind of rejecting here. This is a situation where I was thinking about shorting it for a second, but we kind of broke down too quickly. Yeah, dude, every one of my investments is very green on the day, man. I bought Amazon, Crocs, HIMS, PayPal, United Health. Is the mania done? Is it time to short? I don't know. I might short a small little retracement here. It has to be small though. We'll short this, but it's a risky trade. 1 micro contract is all we got. I'll add to it if it goes into the green. We start to get balled up here. I'm cutting it. Yeah, I'm cutting that. We're still green on the day, but too risky. We're sideways right now too. Amazon's still flying up. Yeah, we just heard the song. Should have stayed in the short. We're actually shorted a different account, but it's all right. But I'll show you this account now. Took a little bit of profit in it. There we go. Take a little bit more off there, and then we'll just sit on the rest. Or hold the rest break even here, which is all I can really do. I'm going to cut it right there, break even. We made money on the trade, but when we start to push up towards all-time highs, I don't want to get stuck in that momentum rip. All right, sideways chop here. Amazon, where's Netflix at, man? Netflix is still doing good. Maybe we'll try shorting this again, but it's a risky position. There we go. We'll get into this. We'll hold it break even now, and then we'll add to it if it goes more green. There we go. All right. Half off there. Yes, sir. All right. We'll see if we can keep getting. Gonna cut this break even on the rest, but I want to let it break down some more. All right, we're gonna cut it right there. All right, so far so good. Here's 25. We're still watching 25. Yeah, I bought some Vans the other day. First time I've worn skateboard shoes in probably a decade. It's Wally, Raven. Raven, it seems like you might be a little delayed on stream, though, brother. Hit the live button next to the play button, sir. All right, AMD breaking highs of the day again. I'm gonna take where's Google doing? Go sideways. I'm gonna take a little bit off of my Amazon trade here. Just because we're up so much. I'm not gonna take a lot of it. Market correction, maybe. It's possible. Bro, I bought some of those carnivore snacks. Dude, they are so good. So good. The problem is they're expensive. But that is so good. They're so addicting too. September slut. Yeah, they're like $40 a bag or $30 a bag. But they're good. So I guess it's not that crazy relative to beef jerky. All right, so here's the breakdown. We rejected at 24.50. Rejected at 24.50, came down to 24.25. Look at the levels hold. They don't tell you exactly where things are going, but they give you a little influence. They taste better than Slim Jims. Gold's still pushing up though. Where are yields at? Yields opened up really low, but they're starting to push up a little bit there at 4.252%. All right, United Health just broke highs of the day again, getting up to 267s. PayPal pushing up. All right, so we're still testing that 25 level. I don't know what to do here. We're up so much in a lot of the stuff I invested in. I want to sit on it long term. All right, so the senior administration official says the Fed list also includes Bowman, Bullard, Hassett, Jefferson, Logan, Summerlin, Waller, and Wash. Again, AMD hit highs, July 2024 highs, last up 5.6%. Look, here's the bounce at 25, back up to 50. I talked about that trade too. Maybe I should have gotten it. Yeah, so you can see like Walmart on this Amazon news opened up pretty red on the day. Hit 101 and now it's back up. Maybe Walmart. Let's see, where's Walmart? I think Walmart's at all-time highs though prior to this. Yeah, we're too close to all-time highs for me to buy Walmart. Amazon pushing up towards highs of the day again. AMD ripping up over all-time highs. we're kind of consolidating now after doing some big stuff this morning, but I do think we gotta wait. We're starting to push up again, but we hold. It's been kind of a crazy bull day. So we're popping up some more here. Look at this big surge. If we hold. Question is, do we break all-time highs again, or do we just kind of creep back down? We're in another trade here. We already locked in about $50 or $60 in profit. We're short in my other funded account here, which is right around here. No, it's not that one. It's this one. But we're right around break even now. We rode that last red candle down, but we're still in 2 micro contracts, and it looks like we're gonna have to cut it here. So we just made some money on that one too as well. United Health still pushing up. Yeah, Bitcoin over 121. Microsoft pulled back. Where's Tesla? I haven't looked at Tesla this morning. I didn't look at Tesla yet. Yeah, I've been shorting recently, but now that we're back up here to 60, I'm not going to short anymore. I mean, it might fake out liquidity grab here, but actually, I might short a retracement of this candle here. All right, so I'm going to short this right here, add to it. We got some cushion on the day. 4 contracts. Don't have to retrace too much, though. I got to get out. Yeah, I got to cut this. Too big of a retracement back up there to all-time highs. Still green on the day in that one, too. We're green on everything, but we're not down in any of our funded accounts. We got PPI inflation data dropping tomorrow live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And so tomorrow we do have PPI inflation data. Thursday, we also have jobless claims unemployment dropping tomorrow. PPI expected at 2.5% on the year and 0.2% on the month. See if that holds. Let's watch 50 to see if we bounce here. All right, I'm going to try to buy this 50 bounce with 1 small contract, and if we go green, we'll add to it. Got a little retracement up there. We can hold this close to break even now. We're close to all-time highs, so the momentum starts to get close to the upside here, but doesn't look like it's going to hold, though, honestly. It looks like it's going to fall. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I got to cut that. We want PPI lower for a rate cut. Lower inflation means opens the door for earlier cuts. We gotta have price stability to cut. All right, I'll try to buy this here. We're so close to highs. I'm basically betting that we're gonna break highs, but I don't know if I'll necessarily like it, but I think it's still probable now that we're all the way up here. That we make another push towards high since we're so close to the opening bell still. We're green so far. Did we go more green? I don't mind cutting it if the story changes though. Battle between buys and sells right now is what this is. Buys have more power for sure, but sells could correct to the downside too. Looks like it's now. Yep. We're still net green on the day, but choppy market now. We're kind of chopping sideways. You can watch 25. The 200 exponential's getting up there too. John, how do you rationalize an all-time high exit versus riding momentum? Well, I rationalize it because we broke an all-time highs multiple different times. Look, I got out right in time too, man. Look at this drop. This is exactly why. So like, I'll ride it up to here, but I'm not gonna attack the break of it. Why? Because sometimes when we're at the top of the range, people start taking profit, and then we dump down. And so for me, it's easier, and everybody's different. Like, I'm sure there's strategies that might work. Like, say we're here, like earlier today, I would rather ride the range up to these high levels, if that makes sense. Let's pretend this is the all-time high prior to this back here. I'd rather ride the range up to the all-time high and then cut it up here versus trying to attack a breakout that sometimes goes like this, if that makes sense. So too many times, like at these big milestone levels, people take profit. I don't want to get stuck in that profit taking, kind of like we're seeing now. But again, everybody's different, man. They really are. Like, the way you do it is different. The context of what's going on in markets makes a lot of holds a lot of influence over what I do. So here's 2410s. Still breaking down. Here's 24s right here. Watch 24s. 24 is a psychological level. So I think the market wants to hold 24. And you never know if it will. Make sure this sell-off wasn't catalyst driven. In my other funded account, we just bought this 24 dip and rode this big bounce back up. That's good. So we're green in 2 out of 3 of our funded accounts now. Yeah, I mean, look, 24 is a level. 24, big psychological level. 24K. That's a level for sure. You know, that's a level that a lot of people have their eyes on. And so when we are at all-time highs and then dip down to this level, it's something I mentioned earlier. There's a chance we bounce. That's what I just wrote up. See if it holds the 200 exponential, which is right here at 17, which is also a previous all-time high at 2417, 2418. Right here. Right where we're at now. Let's see if we bounce right here. Yep, we bounced a little bit at least. Doesn't mean it's gonna hold. But Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna get. I mean, we'll see. Watching 24s. Oh, wow. All right, PayPal still breaking highs too, man. All right, so look at, since we bounced a little bit at that 17, 18 level. Look at 24 even though. This level here. Right here. Yep. That mean it's gonna hold. I think if we get under 24, bears might be in control for a little while, but you never know. I think there's probably a good group of buyers stepping in here too, though, but yep. Rejecting at 24.10. There's got to be a lot of buyers willing to step in at this specific level. Again, it could just dip down too. I don't know. Crocs breaking all-time highs over and over again. So is United Health. So is PayPal. PayPal not all-time highs. Crocs not all-time highs either, actually. Hold on. Yeah, no, Crocs not all-time highs. But bouncing. Highs of the day is what I meant to say. Yeah, I'm going to cut out of here, guys. Y'all be safe in this market. Again, we've broken all-time highs numerous times. If we get under 24K and hold for a period of time, bears might be in control. Again, if you want to day trade with less risk, try Top Step. No PDT rule in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, some currencies. Most day traders lose money. And so it's better to limit your risk instead of putting up tons of money trying to look cool in markets. So just be safe, guys. Remember, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment, trade smart. Can't guarantee anything. But yeah, markets are at around all-time highs. They're dipping down some a little bit here, chat. Check out Top Step right there. Great way to learn. Most day traders lose. Some of the most reliable payouts in the game. Futures market, very similar to day trading stocks and get you around the PDT rule. But as I always say, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment, trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Understand CFTC 4.41 hypothetical or simulated trading has risks and may vary and limitations. There's limitations. So be safe, guys. Y'all be good. Have a great day.